Okay. So this is week 12 of our Blitz. We had some amazing guests. We've all brought in points. I thought it was really fun and it was excellent for accountability. Tonight we have closing out our call, the amazing Alexis Romano. Thank you for being here, Lex. I'm not going to give a formal interview. I'll just give what I know about her. I met Alexis about 6 years ago. I signed up 2 people, not having a clue what the hell I was doing. And my coach said, okay, I got to get you on a 3-way phone call with this woman. And I'm like, okay. And I spoke to Alexis for the first time. And all I knew was that she was a guidance counselor who started this with 0 experience and became just wildly successful. What I loved about her was that on that phone call, on that first phone call, there was no sugarcoating. There was no BS. It was like, do you want to do this? Okay, make a list of 100 people and call me in 24 hours. And I don't know if I was scared or excited or a little bit of both, but I did it. And anytime I did what was required or requested of me, she gave back tenfold. I remember on a rainy Friday afternoon, this woman drove all the way from Jersey to a little rinky-dink sushi restaurant to speak in front of me and my 10 guests. And to me, that's the kind of leadership that always stayed with me. You know, you want to do the do. You want to show up. You don't want, I mean, she's always in the background. She never wants to be on stage, but she's always there, right? She's always doing 3-way phone calls, answering questions, and really not breaking away from the simple things. So I love you. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it because I know it's not something that you do often. And welcome to our last and final call.
I love you too, Anne. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. I was getting yelled at that no one could see my face. And I'm like, I'm here. I may be a little dark, but I'm here.
Yes.
So
lighting was required and no fascia blasting.
Yeah, no, I actually took care of that last night so that I'd be fresh, ready to go for tonight. So, and it's funny, Angela, I asked you like for questions earlier and I have not even looked at them. So I'm good. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's just a friendly talk because I really want people to see that side of you. You know, it's not just the stuff that you post in the group. It's not just the stuff that is said on stage or on the systems calls. It's the stuff that we live by every day. And eventually, at some point, folks, this has to become engraved into the things that you do each and every day, whether it's fun or not fun. It does have to become your business, your practice. So the first thing that I wanted to ask you is, why did you start network marketing?
Okay. So I didn't start network marketing. I didn't start Isogenics for the business. I came into Isogenics strictly for the products. I literally paid cash to my vice principal at the time, who was a friend of mine, and he handed me over a brown box. So, and I read the instructions. I didn't have anybody to coach me through the program. I literally just did it with a friend of mine, and, we did the program. I was told I fought with them about putting me on auto ship. I'm like, I don't want anything coming to my house every 30 days, so don't even try it. Yeah. And then day 3, like my body lit up. Now I've been eating like organic and clean and healthy supplementation, done some crazy cleanses, most of my life. So, but I never felt any different with this. Day 3, I was like, okay, there's something here. So I wanted to know how I could get more, because you can't just give me a little and then, then I'm going to go away. So, and then they told me that there was a business opportunity, and I was just ignorant to it. It's not that I didn't want anything to do with it. I just didn't know what it was about. So I actually said to the 2 people that were kind of like my mentors at the time, because my vice principal wasn't doing the business. And I said, I'm not going to go out of my way to meet anyone. So if somebody wants to talk to me about this business, then they can come to the high school. And that's actually what happened. And they came to the high school and we sat there for a few hours, and they told me I had to come to this event in Mahwah, New Jersey. And I did. And that's literally where everything changed for me. I saw people not only losing weight and getting healthy, but making money. And it was a teacher that was on stage that I literally stalked after that event.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to make more money. I knew I was never going to make enough for the lifestyle that I wanted. And it wasn't like this elaborate lifestyle. I just didn't want to make ends meet anymore. So I always waitress, tutored, house cleaned. So I was like, okay, I love the product. So tell me how to do this.
Yeah. So you know what? I've heard you say many of times, don't look for business builders, because sometimes even a product user can become your best business builder. And if you don't mind me saying so, you were probably a pain in the ass in the beginning. You didn't want to be on auto ship. You didn't want to deal with, and I want people to know that there's no such thing as a picture perfect client. Some people, they're not going to cleanse on day 5 when you tell them to. Some people are not going to understand the goal of auto ship. And some people are not going to want to start with a value pack. But listening to this story, it makes me think you can't disqualify anyone. You still have to do your best to invite them to an event. You still have to do your best to get them on a team call, because you never know what that little thing might be that gets them lit up. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I didn't, I was maybe, the products, I did my own research. I didn't need to be convinced. I've done crazy stuff in the past, master cleanse, 10-day liquid fast. So for me, I've done all of these supplementations and shakes and stuff. So if someone told me, here are the instructions, read them, it wasn't like that. It wasn't that difficult to figure out, right? I knew I had to cleanse, and, I knew I had to drink shakes. That was it. So I didn't know how to build a business. That's for sure.
Yeah. What do you think it was about that event that kind of got you open? Do you think it was finding someone that was in a similar situation to you? Do you think it was that teacher that resonated with you? Do you think it was, oh my God, seeing the bigger picture? Because I know we tell everyone, you've got to get to this event, but they don't quite understand why.
I would not be here if it wasn't for that event. No doubt. I would have never seen the bigger picture. I would have never caught the vision, the excitement, the energy, even though I was literally by myself sitting in the back of the room and just watching. I remember saying, oh my God, these people are holding their pants up of all of this weight that they lost. And I'm telling you, I would never be here if it wasn't for that first event. And after that first event, I went to every event after that. There was no way I was missing anything.
Yeah.
And it was the teacher. I resonated with him, he was making not too much money, but an extra $25,000 for the year. That's $1 million to me at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big deal. I remember hearing you say that you once took a bus to Buffalo by yourself to hear Susan Sly speak.
Well, it wasn't actually a bus. I went, I did go. It was Syracuse. It was a 6-hour drive to Syracuse with a woman who is no longer with me. I don't know how she came to that event and is no longer with me, because, you hear Susan Sly and it's it. But yeah, I was getting there. Me, my sister, and CG, we drove hours and hours to events because there was nothing where we were. So when people say, I don't have any support in my area or no one's doing isogenics, I'm like, good for you. That's an opportunity, not, to be discouraged, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. A drive to Syracuse, a bus to Buffalo.
It's all a plane, whatever, planes, trains, automobiles.
But you know, hearing that story about you 6 years ago, it motivated me to take a lot of chances and do a lot of things that I never would have done in my life. I was always the type of person that wouldn't go see a movie because I didn't have somebody to come with me. I wanted to roller skate or dance Zumba, but I wouldn't do it because I didn't have a friend. And when I looked at you, to me, it said, wow, she's ballsy, she's brave. And it really made me want to step out of my element and do that. And I think just the actions that you've taken have encouraged and inspired others, not by what you say, but by what you do. And so that example alone showed me that us as leaders, we have to be front and center. Doesn't matter if you're taking 10 people or if you're going alone. You have to be on those calls. You have to be the events, because that's what paves the way for people, right? Yeah. So how committed were you in the beginning? Because when you just started, you weren't making a lot of money. You didn't know about this. You had a job to fall back on. How committed were you, and what kept you in the game?
You know, my commitment changed as time went on, what I thought was commitment, because I didn't know what this was. I didn't know I remember like saying to myself, you know, you would hear about people who make like all of this money in network marketing, even though I didn't even know what network marketing was. But, you know, you just heard about those people. So my commitment was, I got on, there was a Sunday team call that I got on with Cameron Howard. There was, I don't know, maybe 9 of us, right? Like, I got on every Sunday. They actually changed the time for me because it was Sunday night at 10 o'clock. And I was like, I was so miserable at work. I was like, 10 o'clock, I just want to go to bed. So they changed it to 9 o'clock. So I was, you know, I went to all of the events. I figured out a way how to get to the events. I shared a room with Dennis and his wife once. Like, it was just awkward, but I was like, oh, well, I had to do it. Right. You know, I'm a true hustler. Like, I will do whatever it takes. So no one has to tell me what I need. Like, I needed structure for the business because I didn't know how to do it. But I didn't need anyone to tell me that I needed to hustle my business. I waitressed, I tutored. I would go into my vice principal's office every morning and I would say, how many kids do you have for me? He's like, Alexis, I already gave you all the kids. And I'm like, I'll come on Saturday. I'll stay till 7 o'clock at night. So for me, it was like, I'll just do the same thing for this. And then when I saw that $54, I said this on a million calls, $54 to wake up to $54 in the morning, sleeping, and then getting up and seeing $54. I had to waitress 6 hours to hope to make 50. Yeah. Like, that was like, okay, I'm in.
Now, in the beginning, you didn't have a lot of mentors. I know for someone who's a red personality, it's pretty simple. Like, what do I do? Just talk to people and sign them up. You know, it's not too complex. Todd Falcone said, like, you know, being like, duh, here, and being like brain surgery here, network marketing is probably like a 2.
Yeah.
But you didn't have any mentors. How did you know what to do? How did you know that you needed to follow up? How did you know how to handle objections? But how did you figure it out?
Well, that's a great question. I did have some mentors. Dennis Katopoulos and Mark Switzer really helped and supported me the best they knew how. They were amazing people. Like, they literally, the day that they came to the high school to talk to me about the business, the reason why I went to that event, because not what they said. Like, half the time I didn't know what they were saying, right? It was the way they said it, and I just felt their genuineness and like they truly cared. And so for me, it was like, you know, they did launch parties where we called them, I don't even know what we called them back then, but and I remember my first launch party, I invited everybody in my in my email, and like 88 invites went out, and like 16 of my friends showed up, and some of them I just guilted, like, you're coming, I've come to everything for you. You're coming, you don't have to buy anything, but you're coming. And they did, they supported me. Not everyone, but a lot of my friends did. But I remember I cooked this big spread. I was like, my mother says you can't have people over unless you feed them. So I had this whole spread of like all this organic food that I cooked, and they walked in, they're like, oh my God, no. And I was like, what do you mean no? And they're like, no, this is not duplicatable. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. So I never did that again. It was water and like celery and cucumbers. Like that was it. They said they're here for a reason, not to socialize, to get the information and to leave. Like, so I learned from that, but I dragged Dennis everywhere. I dragged him everywhere, but what I still didn't have was structure and that step-by-step. Okay. So I talked to someone and then I do what? And then I show them a movie, and I did 3-way calls with Cameron Howard. But then I got to the point where I was like, I still feel a little lost. Like if I could just give me a blueprint, right? Just give me a blueprint, something so simple that I could teach myself, then I can figure this out.
Yeah. And you know what I love? I think there's no shame in outgrowing your coach. And I don't mean that as a level of disrespect anyway, but sometimes you may want this more than your sponsor does. And there should be no guilt in that. You got to get after it. And, fortunately, we have systems in place. There's so many podcasts. Everything is Facebook Live. But what I really like and admire was when you were brought to a certain level, you were like, oh no, there's a lot more than this. And you went after it. You didn't wait for anyone to give you anything. I mean, you were researching, reading books, learning wherever you can to grow yourself. And I think often people wait for somebody else. I pray that every single person that I enroll outgrows me, outruns me, outworks me every day. I would love for you to bring me a podcast and say, Ange, you can't believe what I found. You got to listen to this.
Yeah.
There's no shame in growing. And I think everyone needs to know that.
Yeah, I know myself. I'm a self-starter. I'm self-motivated. I don't need anybody to light a fire under my butt. Like I'd rather you kind of leave me alone. And I mean, Cameron used to check on me all the time, and I'm like, why does this guy keep calling me? But he was doing what he thought he should do. But like everybody's personalities are different. I was still doing the do. And then he introduced me to Carol Taylor, who is like, I love her so much. Like she is the wisest, most, to me, like just the wisest and most loving, strong, powerful businesswoman. No nonsense, but she will like fight till the end, and then she'll tell you to let go. Like she's the one leader in this company that I will truly always follow. She's her own individual. She has no ego, and I go to her for everything, but only when I can't handle it myself. I do not bother her for things. I've never done it. I did. I did a few 3-way calls with Carol, with big, like, people who are network marketers. But besides that, like, I would call her every now and again, and I would say, Carol, like, what do you think I should do? Is there anything I should do differently? And she's like, keep doing what you're doing. Just keep, and let go of the people that don't want to do this. Yeah. Work with the people who deserve it, not the people who are going to drain you.
Yeah.
And every single month, it was the same thing. There was no magic anything that she told me.
Yeah. Work. Put your head down.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have someone like that in your corner, because I think we're only human. And I think like anyone, you've probably had your highs, your lows, your ups, your downs, your reservations, your heartbreaks. But that's in life. That's in any relationship. That's in any business. And it's nice to have someone in your corner that says, you know what, kid, you've got what it takes. Keep going. Yeah. And it's nice to have a mother figure like that. I feel like that's what Kathy has been for me.
Yeah.
What do you think has been your most valuable piece of advice in your business? For me, it's when you always say, manage your frustrations. Leave your ego at the door. Keep a cool head. Keep a cool heart. Because a lot of times you get so attached to the outcome that you get hurt. But really, it's about keeping cool and keeping your composure. So you've like engraved that into my mind. What's been your best piece of advice?
Yeah, my best piece of advice is what Carol would literally say to me every month. She would say, keep doing what you're doing and work with the people who want to work. I mean, and I hear Kathy Cooper says it all the time too. And, Kathy Sabat, like all the leaders, right? But, we get to the, everyone's personality is different, right? I wanted everyone to get healthy and wealthy. And not everybody wants it. Or not everybody can see it for themselves, or not everyone has the belief, and we can pour belief, but we can't drag people to do something that, some people, like Kathy Cooper has said, comfortably miserable.
Yeah.
It's just like the status quo. They don't know how to dream big. And I want big dreamers. And a big dream doesn't mean you're going to make $1 million. A big dream is, I just want to replace, my part-time job right now. Like, that's a big dream. That was a big dream for me, like not to have to waitress at the age of 40.
Yeah. Mine was not to ask my husband for $20 to wax my eyebrows.
Exactly. It's the little things. I mean, like Lori Carminucci was boots. I'll never forget that 3-way call ever.
Yeah. It's amazing. And to think of all the lives that you've impacted, I think must be so special to you. You get to a point where it's not just about the money anymore. It's about a higher purpose, right? Because
absolutely,
you find out quickly that you can have all the Chanel bags, all the Louis, and it doesn't fill in here.
No, I actually just sold three bags. I'm like, I don't wear these. I don't use them, and I just need to get rid of them. So yeah, the money is great to be able to buy the thing, but to be able to provide for your family, for yourself, to not have to want and not, it's just a different feeling. It's an amazing feeling, and be able to do that for other people, is even more amazing.
It's a big deal, and sometimes you don't realize what a big deal it is until you get into a certain situation where you're like, oh my God, I was totally able to take 2 weeks off and spend it with, my mom or whoever, and I didn't have to ask anyone for time off. Or you don't realize how special this is until shit hits the fan, or until something happens in your life where you're like, oh my God, my husband lost his job and I was able to still pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
And it's important to be grateful for this every day. She's still grateful about that first cycle, that $54. My cleaning girl cleans for 3 hours to make that $54.
Hello. I used to clean beach houses and apartments for $50, $60 beach houses. Do you know how disgusting beach houses are? And then I would go out at night and they would say, aren't you the girl who cleaned my house today? And I was like, oh, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right. But I was like, yeah. And I have $300 in my pocket right now. So I was like, yeah, okay. So no shame. Like, I'll shovel whatever horse crap if you, there's no shame. I think if you do the do just because you want more.
I tell you honestly, a lot of people go to college and they do what they're supposed to, and they get a master's degree, and they find themselves in a heap load of student debt with a job that pays you pennies. And so network marketing isn't about selling shakes out of your trunk. It really is an investment in your future. It really is about creating that type of leverage that you cannot get anywhere else. And more, we're seeing more doctors doing this, lawyers, architects, professional people that are taking a serious look at this. And many of us have used Alexis's example, from guidance counselor to 7-figure earner. I mean, it's incredible, her story, but we see it so frequently in Isagenix. She's not an oddity. This is just something that's possible for those who take it seriously. So I love this profession, as you can tell. Have you had any regrets? Anything that you wish you could have done over? One more chance.
I mean, yeah, I probably wouldn't have created so much chaos in the beginning of my business. But I feel like, we always say that, right? Like if you could change one thing, maybe I wouldn't have spent so much time with people who didn't really want this. But it just, it just builds your character, and then you're able to, help somebody else who's going through it, right? If you've already, I experienced chaos in my first business center, like chaos, my sister is one of two people, are the two original people in my position as executive in my first center. Everyone else is gone.
Yeah.
And my brothers, my family, right? Like my family, they have no choice.
But you know what? It sets you up for greatness, right? You in the beginning, I think we're all starting out as amateurs, kind of learning the way, just experiencing it. But the only way you get better is by being out there and doing it, right? You can't read about sucking in a textbook. You got to go out there and really muck things up before you can.
Yeah. And I literally, I listen to every, we have our Monday and Tuesday night calls, and that's great. Right. And listen, I created the systems, and I'm on the Monday calls, right? It's 11 years later, I created them and I'm still on them. So I don't have to be, but what kind of leader would I be if I'm not? That doesn't even make sense to me. Granted, I don't 24 hours built, right? When I, in the beginning, you best believe I had goals that I wanted to hit. So there was no TV. There was, no what I used to do, go out on the weekends. I had a goal, and I wanted to have a better life. And every event I went to, I saw people making it happen, and it just got me more excited and more excited. So I always went home and worked. But I bought every book, every podcast, you name it. They used to have the original millionaires, the first millionaires in Isogenics, the 10 millionaires, and they had these CDs of their story, and I would listen to each story over and over and over again. I'm like, there's going to be something they say that's going to click for me. And, and I bought every book on, how to be a network marketer, what's network marketing, how to prospect, how to script. Literally, I could show you shelves of books and CDs that I have, and DVDs and all of this stuff, because I wanted to learn, but I didn't learn and not get into action. I was always in action.
Well, you had a long bus ride to Buffalo.
Yes, I had a very long bus ride to Buffalo, and then I took the train back from Syracuse.
Do you believe that anyone can make it in this profession?
Listen, we say everyone can make it, right? But you can't make it if you're not willing to go through the bad days and the good days. I know I don't look like I showered today, but I actually showered for this call. But most of the time, it's a grind, but it's not a painful grind. For me, it's never been a painful grind. And grind, I don't mean it that word is kind of, I don't know, ugly, but it's not glamorous. It's not, glitter and glitz behind the scenes, right? The website that everyone just plugs into, it's a lot of work goes on behind the scenes for that website. It doesn't just miraculously happen. So, there's things that as a leader that you do that people don't see you're doing, because it's kind of now it's just kind of plug and play, right? But if you don't have a why, and your why will change as your journey goes, but if you don't have a strong why and it's just, I want to make a lot of money. I wanted to make money. I never said I wanted to make a lot of money in the beginning, because a lot is all relative, right? So a lot was $54 at that point. But it can't just be, I want to make a lot of money, without something behind it that drives you. Because the money it can't be the driving force unless that, like, when you think about, like, I want to make a lot of money, or I have money that I want to make because of something, right? Like, it's something. It's not like what, you're going to just put it in like your dresser drawer and you're just going to like call it a day. I got a lot of money in there. There's something behind why you want to make a lot of money, or you want to make money. So if you don't know what that is, you're not going to get excited. You're just not.
What was your something then, and what's your something now?
So my something then was I wanted to not waitress anymore. I was 40 years old and I was doing it for like since I was 16. So at 40, it's not fun, 20s, it's fun, but 40s is not fun. And then I wanted to replace my tutoring. I mean, I literally would go to work and then I would tutor after work. And then I would come home and I would, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, my weekends were shot because I was always waitressing. By the time I got out of work, it was, 12 o'clock, 1 in the morning. And where am I going? So I wanted to replace those so that I could have somewhat of a life. And then, I saw the bigger picture when I was able to do those. And I was like, I just want to be my own boss. I don't want someone to tell me when I could go to the bathroom. I don't want to like feel sick to my stomach if like your boss comes in, or, I just didn't want those feelings anymore. Yeah. And now, I mean, my why is I want to see other people have what I have. And, my family is like, my parents are a big why. Like, if it wasn't for Isagenix, I don't know where we would be. Like, literally, it makes me like scared to even think about where we would be. I wouldn't be able to emotionally support them. I wouldn't be able to physically be there. I wouldn't be able to financially. I would for those of you who are in like a place in your life where I see somebody like upside down and I don't know how to get out of that because I'm not very tech savvy. So I if you're in a and for other people it's their kids, right? For me it's my parents right now. My parents are older and they need my help. They need my sisters. They need all of our help. So it's like the support of, if I had a job and my parents were going through what they're going through right now, I would have to get 2 extra jobs. I wouldn't be able to see them. The thought like is really, really, really scary, because when you go through these challenges, when your parents get older and you realize how society, our country, and maybe other countries, but I can only speak how the healthcare system is horrible and how no one cares for the elderly. Like it's pretty scary. So if like that is like huge, huge.
That's a big deal, because you have to be there to advocate for them when they can't advocate for themselves.
Yeah. And if you don't have any money, like they're going to go into like these horrible places, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, and your boss probably would fire you by now. I mean, you can only take so many sick days to go do what you got to do. So I don't want to make you late for your own systems call. I'm going to ask you 2 more quick questions before Jody totally like blocks me and unfriends me. What do you think is your greatest asset? What do you think has really been the key to your success? If you had to pick like one personality trait.
I'm self-motivated.
Yeah.
I'm self-motivated. I don't need someone to tell me what I need to do for my business. Yeah. I know what I need to do. I always know, like in the beginning, I didn't know how, but I always knew I needed to be in action and enroll people. Like I knew I had to enroll people. So self-starter, self-motivated. And I love this business. Like this business is the best business. You get to you build such relationships with people. They become your friends and the closest friends, your it's the best business. So
Do you still set goals for yourself every month, every quarter, every year? Do you still kind of run for the stars or push for a certain amount of rank advancements and enrollments? And if so, if you still do you ever feel disappointed maybe at this stage in the game? I mean, is there still disappointment if you don't hit a goal?
Yeah, I don't need anyone to make me feel bad. I can do that all on my own. But like here, my whiteboards are still here. Like they're still there. My goals are still written out. I have my prospecting notebook. I still have everything that I did from the beginning. I'm just better at it. But structure and organization has always been like and I have goals. I want to max out my third center, and I will do it. Like, do I have to? No. But like, what do? You just stop. Like, and then I'm no longer a leader either, right? Because how am I standing in integrity? I mean, Carol Taylor's 70 something years old and she's still building her business. Like, who am I? I'm just going to stop.
Yeah.
When I had a goal, I wanted to go to the Cayman Islands. I put it like on a screensaver on my phone. I'm going to the Cayman Islands. And Angela, you know this, and probably a lot of people that know me really well. I didn't know like that I was even like, I just knew I was going because I wasn't going to do anything different than what I was already doing. I'm building my business. I'm enrolling and prospecting and building relationships, enrolling in team building, like rank advancing. So to me, it was like, oh, I didn't know I was going, but I'm going.
But just because you're doing the do. And another thing that I love is that you don't have to know everything, and you don't know everything. Sometimes what the heck does this mean? Or where do I find this? And I think that you don't have to know everything to be wildly successful, but you have to keep doing the do. And what you see here today, I can attest, is the same person 6 years ago, just doing the do, talking to people, meeting people. Was it comfortable for her? Absolutely not. But as time went on, I can see how much better you've gotten, how much skillful you've gotten, and even just how much more at peace you've gotten, and I love you. I think that the entire team is incredibly grateful for you. God bless Dennis. I mean, I don't think any of us would be here today.
Well, I'll tell you, it's full circle, and I know Jody will probably kill us all, but the person who enrolled me, my old vice principal, and I think Carolyn is probably on this call, but it goes around full circle because first of all, he's smart. He never got off of auto ship, right? So 11 years later, and the man's still on auto ship. So he has a blown out leg. And he just never built a business. He eventually will, and I will most gratefully help him 100. It changed my life. I mean, so we're doing a charity with the teens from the school that I was in, the person who enrolled me, because where else would I go, right? Like, the man changed my life. He had no idea that this brown box on his desk that I paid cash for was going to change like so many lives. So I'm forever grateful for him. So when people are like angry about their upline now, and guys, I was on a real inside leg. I've never seen one BV come from anywhere above me, not on either side of my legs ever. I didn't know what that meant. I just knew I needed to build. So no one could ever say they can't do this because they're of where they are placed in their organization. But he forever changed my life. So when people are angry with their upline and don't have support, and who cares? They introduced you to this opportunity. They literally gave you an opportunity that could change your life forever. And millions of people after that. So Angela, I'm so grateful for you doing this blitz, because I think hearing from so many different people and leaders, not just on our team, but from Isogenics in general, and I appreciate you putting it together. And you two are an amazing leader, and I've seen you change so much. And so I'm so grateful. And there's things that I have no shame or ego when it comes to asking questions of things that I just don't know. I mean, it's just, how else are you going to learn?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. thank you so much, guys, for being on the call. And I just want to say that what we have here is so special. We have a system, we have calls, we have a place for you to plug into. Most other teams in Isagenix do not have this. They get a box and all they have is the Isagenix business website. I mean, many people in Isagenix do not have a virtual party handed to them on a Tuesday night where literally all you have to do is hit one freaking show.
It's so true.
You really are, you know, for 6 years I have followed the system. I will just say that. So I'm grateful.
One other thing, Angela, I just want to say, it's if you want to make a lot of money, you can't just do the bare minimum of getting on Monday and Tuesday calls and sharing the Tuesday virtual launch and doing our 10-for-1 system. You will make some, but you will not make a lot. You have to go above and beyond. You have to strive for more. You have to want more. And I always say, like, if you can't want more for yourself, because maybe you just don't have that belief, want it for your family, want it for your kids. They deserve to have the best life. So that's all. I could just go on forever.
Yeah. And it's absolutely possible. There's no limitation on anything. You can out earn your coach. You can make 7 figures a year. There's no limits here. So I hope after this 90 days, you guys keep it up. You go out there, you kick butt, support each other's posts, comment on each other, plug in, and let's all hit 7 figures together. I'm going to unmute. Let's give a big woohoo. Congratulations for making it.
Thank you, Alexis.
Thank you.
Muchas
gracias.
Hop on the Monday night call.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Thank you.